Hello everyone, welcome to Reddit Reactions, where real humans read and react to Reddit comments. Today's Ask Reddit question is, what is your favorite childhood memory? I love these kind of questions because everybody's childhood is quite reflective of themselves. So if they're actually telling you what their favorite part of their childhood is, it's interesting. It tends to be interesting stories. This first reply is by Function Kit Kats. When I was little, my great-grandma Emma was having a party, and it was an old people party with all of her friends. So all me and my cousins did was run around, hide under tables, play tag, etc. Eventually, my great-grandma told us to all go play outside. So we all just sat down on top of the hill and talked. Then my great-grandma, in her 80s, comes outside, sees us, declares that's not how you play, and barrel rolls down the hill in front of half of her party. Oh, I want to be an old grandma who has that kind of flexibility. That would be amazing. I'm imagining your great grandmother transforming like a transformer into a jet, then doing this as she flew down the hill with a stern look on her face. This is Alpha Grandma reporting in. When I was 3 or 4, I remember being driven home from someplace, falling asleep in the back of the seat, and waking up to my father lifting me up and carrying me to bed, half awake, floating in his arms with a dreamy, safe feeling. Oh, that's sweet. Every night in the car for me, sometimes I would just pretend to be asleep. My dad did this once when I was 10. I realized it the next morning and was like, dude, I'm too old for that. And then gave him a hug. That's pretty funny. I feel like I've probably had that experience, but I can't recall it right now. Baking with my granny. Just how amazing it felt to be creating something with someone who loved me so completely. She died when I was 13, and I still miss her every day. And every time I bake, I feel really close to her. Yeah, what is up with that? What is it with grannies and baking? I think it's because from that time period, there wasn't as many options to entertain oneself. So you got good at cooking and other stuff, you know? That feeling of excitement and joy right before you turn the corner to see what Santa brought you. Something only a child can feel. Also, when me and my best friend stayed up all night trying to beat Ocarina of Time in one night. Oh my god, that does sound great. We didn't even get close, but it was so much fun. Went to bed at like 7 in the morning, woke up at 11 and played baseball and explored our backyards all day. Fuck, I miss being that young when everything is new and exciting. See, that's the thing. I used to think that way too. I used to think that you could only have those new and exciting experiences when you're young, but that's not true. You have to challenge yourself and put yourself in different environments, but you can have experiences that are new, exciting, consistently throughout your life as you get old. You just have to live a life that allows for that accommodates that, and that's really hard. But this game, Ocarina of Time, I totally understand being a kid and just being mesmerized by that game. That was actually the game that for me broke me into video games, which of course this is a totally cliche experience because Nintendo basically popped a bunch of humans cherries for video games. Like they really did. I remember being a kid and playing Ocarina of Time, and for some reason the thing that got me is when you start the game, right, you're in this forest and it's all cool and there's this music and it's all green and foresty, and then there's these little things, these little like dust particles floating in the air. And as a kid, for some reason, that just blew my mind. I was like, holy, that's amazing, that's so cool. I would just run around in the city, in the town, looking at all the little shiny dust particles in the air. Like, looking back, I'm like, I'm glad that I enjoyed it that much, but how am I supposed to anticipate that a kid is gonna flip out and love that so much? I have no idea. I don't know why I loved it so much, but Ocarina of Time has that effect on people. Something only a child can feel? I'm 23 and still can't sleep on Christmas Eve. 364 days out of the year, and one of them, I can never get a nod. I was about 11 and I desperately didn't want to go to school, but my mom wasn't having any of it. So I got ready for school and went to brush my teeth. When my dad came running in, all screaming, turned on the shower, soaked the whole bathroom, and sprayed shaving foam all over the place, covering me and my little brother in the process. And then yelling down to my mom, saying it doesn't look like I could go to school today because they didn't have a clean uniform. My mom was not best pleased. I could not stop. Oh my God, what an amazing dad. So I don't know if you caught what that comment said, but so this kid was like 11 and he was having a bad day and he didn't want to go to school. And he was begging his mom. He was like, not today. No, they're going to torture me. They're going to kill me, you know? And then and then his dad just covered for him and was like, oh, I'm going to ruin all of your uniforms so you have nothing clean. Oh, damn. I guess you can't go to school today, can you? And then he took some serious heat from his wife. That's a cool dad, though. Obviously, you couldn't do that all the time, but like, what a cool memory. Like, really, that's amazing. One Halloween, when I was in 2nd grade, it was pouring rain, so my father took us to the gas station. There, he proceeded to buy us whatever we picked out to fill our buckets. My brother and me loaded up on full-size candy bars that night. Shortly after, he committed suicide from depression due to alcoholism. I still try to let the happy memories overshadow the tragedy. Whoa, what? One Halloween, it was raining, gas station. Oh, okay, so on a Halloween, he filled their buckets with candy and then, I guess, went home and the dad killed himself. Oh. Damn. Let the good times roll. Yeah, that paragraph was a roller coaster of emotions. I'm sorry for your loss. He sounds like a straight up, stand-up kind of man. What, because he bought candy and then killed himself? That's not stand-up. Like, picking up a book and reading it, only to realize that I was actually reading the book and knew what the words meant without having to ask anyone else. Okay, it's a little less badass because I do remember the specific book in question was Winnie the Pooh, but for Christ's sake, I was only 5 years old at the time. Yeah, just like that. It clicked in my head. I can read. I know what this means. I have a memory somewhat like that. I was in 7th grade and walking to class behind some boys a year or two older than me. They were speaking in Spanish, and one said, "Yo quiero ser un doctor." I want to be a doctor. It was the first time I translated a sentence from Spanish to English that wasn't a memorized phrase, i.e., tengo doce años, me llamo cloudgirl, etc. It was that instant that I knew I wanted to learn as many languages as I possibly could. Today, I'm still in high school. I speak Spanish, can hold a basic conversation in Italian, and Japanese. That's pretty badass. Does anyone else remember almost nothing from their childhood? I mean, I remember major things, just hardly any specific memories. So, if you can't remember stuff from your childhood, that just means those memories are suppressed, basically. Because I thought the same about myself, because my father died when I was a kid, and I thought that I couldn't kind of tap into those things I used to enjoy before his death, basically. But I found that that was actually just bullshit I told myself, and I was fully capable of reconnecting and actually learning what I did enjoy and remembering things. But the key to remembering things is you have to trigger your memories. You have to revisit things you did as a kid. So you don't have to remember everything, but you do have to have a starting point. Like, you have to kind of remember, okay, I read this book, or I watched this cartoon show, or I visited this place, or I saw this movie, whatever it is, and just try and, even if you can only remember like 4 or 5 things that you did like that, that's enough to get started, because you're going to find that when you revisit them, it triggers other things in you that you remember, and just by consecutively doing that over and over again, then you will be able to like explore your past that way. And it works really well. It works for anybody. You have to actually have like traumatized amnesia to not be able to learn about your memories by revisiting stuff that you remember vaguely. It triggers further understanding and more memories and that kind of thing. This reply to the original post about not remembering anything from their childhood. I'm probably far older than you. I'm 49, but I can remember almost nothing before I was about 10. I love these stories though. Maybe I'll steal them in place of my own forgotten past. One day when I was about 7, I was walking down my long-ass driveway through our orchard, home from school, when I was approached by 3 coyotes. I, like any young child, immediately froze out of fear, while these 3 very hungry-looking coyotes keep approaching, getting closer and closer. I start hearing barking in the distance. My 2 German shepherds come flying from behind and start taking on the coyotes, inevitably chasing them away. My big puppies escorted me home. After this, they would always escort me up and down my driveway. Whenever I was coming back from wherever I went, they were always waiting for me at the top of the driveway. It was something I never really thought too much about until they passed away recently. My dad's cat once chased off a coyote. Apparently, it was snooping around outside their front door, and the cat dropped down out of a tree onto its back and dug in its claws. The coyote ran off with the cat still latched on, and neither was ever seen again? What? Now that I think about it, it's possible they were in cahoots and that was just his escape plan. They probably don't want to lead a life of crime together. Well, that sounds like the coyote actually just killed the cat and the parent made up a story about the cat. I don't know. A cat wouldn't willingly ride off into the distance on the back of a predator. Like, that's not gonna happen. Oh, my cat just brushed up against my leg. Maybe he's suggesting I'm wrong. I grew up with a shepherd. Every night, she'd make sure me and my brother were in bed before she went to my parents' room to sleep. Dogs are so cool like that. Like, in our modern world, it's really easy to kind of forget how important dogs are to humans. But if you live in like more rural areas, like the benefits of a dog are insane. Like basically, if you live in an area where you have to put your dog on a leash and go out and take it on walks, at this point, your lifestyle doesn't really benefit from dogs in the way that humans used to benefit from dogs, because they used to be a form of protection from other humans, from other animals. Dogs are immensely loyal, and they have a very good understanding of like who's in your family and who's not. And they're like, I've even seen times in my life where I used to go on a walk, right? And I would take my dog, and my roommate had a cat that he would take on walks, but he wouldn't use a leash or anything. He would just have the cat with him, right? And the cat would kind of follow behind us. We would walk through this park, and the cat would follow us, and I would have my dog. When we got to like certain parts of the park at night, I would let my dog off his leash, right? And my dog hated it when anybody was left out of the group. So if one of my friends was like tying their shoe and we walked ahead of them, my dog would like, he would stay halfway between us. He would stretch, he would be like, hey guys, don't forget about our friend here, guys, come on, what are you doing? He's here, come on. And he hated it when individuals would leave a group. Like, he didn't like that. He'd be like, what are you doing? You're gonna die. Like, it was really, really funny. But what really blew my mind is that he even did this with the cat. Like, there was a point where the cat was really far behind us, and my dog did the exact same thing he does with humans. And he did this thing with his snout where he's like, hey, look, our family member is not with us. He's over there. Like, he's not there yet. We have to wait. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, you feel inclusive of this cat that hates you. You're so dumb. It's adorable. I love it. Dogs are amazing. My mom had a German Shepherd Wolf mix, and she told me he would escort her everywhere she walked and slept by her feet at night. When cars would come up to her house, he would get in front of her and walk up to the driver's side door and put his head up to the window. Too long didn't read? Dogs are awesome. Well, shit. You were lucky your dogs loved you so much. Usually coyotes don't attack. Well, in Maine they don't. But damn, if you were a kid, that's amazing. You had some badass pets. Another German shepherd owner here. I had so many different dogs in my childhood. Many would herd my brother and I back into the yard if we got too close to the street. Others slept on us when parents left for work to keep us safe, or would pace up and down the hole at night until everyone was in bed before they would sleep. And even though I'm rarely around my dad's dog, I live on my own now, when I went camping with my dad and his dogs, we had one who would run up and down the road to check on both me and my dad if I headed down alone to the main site where the outhouses were, or if my dad went fishing and I was somewhere else taking pictures or something. For me, it was my 8th birthday party. My oldest brother made me and my friends foam swords and then dressed up as the Black Knight and let us beat the out of him. It was wonderful. He's a fantastic big brother. 7th grade. Lord of the Rings just came out that day. My mom had scheduled family pictures and picked my sister and I up around lunchtime from school. I was okay with the early dismissal, but I did not want to get dressed up for a picture. It turns out she was playing the school and she took us to see Lord of the Rings. That's amazing! Another awesome parent! Oh man, I want to be like that. My brother pulled me out of school to see Lord of the Rings too. It's just a good family move. Puppies. We bred Shelties for a long time when I was young. I'd come home from elementary school to a kitchen full of puppies and just lay down and let them attack me. Summer nights, just running around in the warm air with the only people in the world you love, thinking that perfect moment can never end. Why do people fixate on moments not ending? I don't really understand that, but maybe that's because the death of my father forced me to be like, oh, shit dies, people end, you know, like, and everything ends. But that doesn't mean it's not wonderful. That almost makes it more beautiful, because, you know, like, you might lose your chance to appreciate something. And that's really motivating, like, really motivating. The day firefighters came to my house because my mom had apparently set it on fire because of the barbecue. Nothing had happened, but I was obsessed with wanting to be a firefighter. So when they showed up, it was the happiest day of my life. Because not one, but 2 trucks showed up, and out came all of these firefighters. So that kid was just really... I wonder how many kids have called 911 because they want to see a fire truck. Like... I actually have a memory from being a toddler, which is insane as it's the only one I can retrieve. I was sitting in a high chair in front of a lawn watching the train go by on our backyard. The whole thing is practically an expressionist painting, as it seems to get a little more muddled with the passing of the years. I'm in my 30s now, and I feel like one day I won't even remember having this memory. So much is lost with time. Yeah, that's so, like, memories don't really work that way. They're not like things that are accurate. The more you remember something, the more you alter it. So it's actually really common over like 40, 50 years for your memories to get fused with other people's memories that you project into yourself. So it's not that big of a deal if you forget shit. In reality. Oddly, I have one from when I was really, really young too. At this point, the memory has become very surreal. I was sitting on a beach chair in the yard in the summer, and my first dog was under the chair in the shade. The memory over time has become very vivid, but almost the same way you remember yours. The next real memory, not one that my mind has taken over from a picture, comes many years later. You are awesome, taking what I imagine most people would be thinking is the worst thing ever and making it the best. Congrats. Yeah, I love that positivity. I had an experience with a dog that from in my childhood where I was climbing like bamboo or something, and we had this really big dog, like a big lab. He was so big that like he would jump up. He was really friendly, like he wasn't harmful, but he was huge, like total teddy bear. But when grown men would come like to the door, our dog would like put his paws on their shoulders and lick their mouths. Like that's how tall. The dog was freaking huge. He was a beast. There was one time I was climbing up in some bamboo and I like fell, and he like caught me. He like ran where I was falling and I landed on him. And another time I like fell in a little pond thing, and he pulled me out of the water. Like it was like, what? It's just, dogs are so cool. Like a lot of people think stories like that are bullcrap, but they're, especially certain breeds, they really have a strong, really powerful maternal instinct to take care of things, and it's really cool, super cool. Dogs are amazing. This last post by What the Penis. I wouldn't eat my dinner when I was about 4 or 5, so my dad kept saying, "What the penis? Eat your food and stop playing with it. I'm serious." I guess so. He's replacing his name with his username. And after a couple times of hearing him saying that, I said, "I'm serious too." And confused, he said, "Well, what are you serious about?" And very unaware of bad words, I said, "I'm serious that I'm gonna stick my foot up your ass." He laughed and asked where I learned that language from. I told him I got it from my brother. He had told me that when my brother got home from high school, he was going to give him a talk about language near me. I responded with, "Yeah, Dad, when he gets home, kick his ass." Oh man, that's funny. All right, everybody, thanks for watching and or listening. Well, I guess watching or listening. Yeah, because you will definitely have listened, but you might not have watched. So thanks for listening and or watching. If you're interested in making this kind of content where you record your screen and you browse and respond to content online that other people have produced, you tell how you think, you share your own stories, you use that as a trigger for your own kind of creative process, right? If you're interested in working with us, we're looking for people who are interested in running YouTube channels that way. So please reach out to us by going to our About channel on this YouTube channel, going down to the contact information where it says for business inquiries, do the little CAPTCHA code, send us an email that says hello, because we want to have a Zoom call with you. All right? Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao.